because the weather changes all the time. The weather is never constant, whether you think it is or not. Hello, I hope you guys are all doing well today. I'm Karina and welcome to Explore Blue Wild. Restrictions actually have not loosened up at all where I live, but I found a tiny forest right next to where I live. So, taking advantage of this because it almost feels like you're in the woods until you hear the trucks going by. So, today's video is going to be on backpacking essentials, day packing edition. Alright guys, a lot of people think day hikes, no big deal, I don't need to bring things on them. Incorrect, my friends. Very, very incorrect. There's actually, most people who get lost and die in the woods are on short day hikes because they don't think they're a big deal, and people who backpack for multiple days are very well prepared. So I'm going to talk to you guys about just a couple things you need to bring with you on day hikes. They all fit into a backpack this size. It's a 15-liter backpack, and this actually is holding all my camera equipment as well. So these things fit into an even smaller bag, and you should have them with you every single time you go hiking on like basically any trail that's going to take you longer than an hour. Or that you don't know. Yeah! So first we're going to talk about like the little things that you should have with you. So we have number one, bandana. This is a backpacking essential that I always take with me. It's useful for so many things, like keeping your hair out of your eyes, dunking in the river and putting around your neck when it's super hot out. It works actually for splints if you injure yourself, and you know, obviously in these times it works as a face mask as well. So bandanas, super tiny, fits in your bag. Have this. Then next one, we have sunscreen and bug spray. This is definitely bug spray, I swear. So these two things you want to have with you because you're in the middle of the woods, and as you can probably see as the sun comes in, the weather changes all the time, and these are going to keep you from getting bitten and in pain, and also healthy and protected from the sun. And they're really small. Take the small ones. And then next fun tiny things, we have hand sanitizer. Have this with you because if you're gonna eat a snack in the woods, maybe don't do it until you've at least sanitized your hands just a little bit. And you know, there's not reliable running water out here, so small container of hand sanitizer. And then also have, highly recommend bringing a jackknife with you. This isn't technically essential, but it is super, super helpful if you're eating food, and also it can be a survival tool. Super tiny, really convenient. It's also great if you need to like cut up fruit or something, so bring a jackknife with you. Alright, and then, oh, this is probably what I should have started with, because these are what I have been told by my expert backpacking friends. I am very experienced in backpacking, but I wouldn't call myself an expert yet. I just know how to stay alive really well. These are the number one things that you always want to have with you in the woods. You want to have a compass. Make sure it's for the correct hemisphere. As I learned the hard way in New Zealand, don't worry, we didn't get too lost, but yeah, it matters what hemisphere you're in. So compass, and then this guy, this is an emergency blanket. They're this lovely shiny material. They're like $2 or $3. This can literally save your life. It weighs an ounce. It's $2. There is no excuse not to have this with you. Okay, moving on to, well, the front compartment, big compartment of this bag. So next, you want to have a map. Depending on where you're going, if the trails are super well marked, or if you know them like the back of your hand, obviously don't need one. But if you're going anywhere new, bring a map. If you don't have a map on you, you can also take a picture of the map at a trailhead with your phone. Almost all trailheads have maps. If they don't, I would be very concerned and make sure you have a paper map, especially if it's a new trail, because that's like a recipe for getting extremely lost. All right, now we're getting to like, I don't know, some of the bigger stuff. Okay, so next you're going to want to have a headlamp or a flashlight, but I really recommend a headlamp because they're just way more convenient. Headlamp, because you don't think you're gonna be out at night. You plan to be back, but what if something happens and you get distracted or take a wrong route or someone gets injured and you're stuck out at night? You're gonna want a light source, and headlamps are the best because it leaves your hands completely free to help you from like falling on your face and tripping and stuff. So bring a headlamp, also super tiny. I like to bring my cell phone. Actually, I always recommend, dear God. I like to bring my cell phone. I always actually recommend that you bring your cell phone because it's a way to contact the outside world most of the time if you don't have service, but you know, also works as a flashlight, so just a really important thing to have with you. And I also like to bring a solar charger for my cell phone because I'm paranoid. And just in case my phone is going to die, then I want to have a charger so I can assure it'll live as long as possible. And this charger actually also comes with a flashlight as well, so that is another light source for me. You'd also need a cord, which I happened to forget today. So if you're gonna bring a charger, don't forget the cord to connect it to your phone. It's okay, I'm only like 10 minutes from my house. Okay. Next, actually, this should have probably been the first thing after the compass and the blanket, but so next is a first aid kit. This one is super tiny. See, it fits totally in the palm of my hand. So you definitely want to have a first aid kit with you. I actually did an entire video on backpacking first aid. I will link it. This is really hard to remember which direction camera's going. Somewhere here, it's up at the top. I'm gonna link the video on backpacking first aid. There are a bunch of essentials that you need, but they actually fit into a super small space, and you will be so happy to have them if you ever need them. Right. Moving onwards, deep into the bag. So then, a little bit bulkier stuff, you're going to want to bring, always bring a waterproof layer, because even if it's the desert and it's sunny, it could literally downpour. I had multiple experiences of downpours happening when I never thought they were going to be. Even if you're in the tropics, bring a raincoat because you might just not want to get wet, or if you get stuck out at night and you have to stay there, again, a raincoat is going to be really good. So just bring a raincoat. They actually fold up super small, and also they'll be good for sitting on the gross ground. Like right now. Should be using this. And then always recommend bringing an extra layer because the weather changes all the time. The weather is never constant, whether you think it is or not, so I always recommend bringing an extra layer. My preferred material is merino wool because, again, it's super tiny and lightweight, and it keeps you warm even when it's wet. You smell like a wet sheep, but you're warm. That's all that matters. Okay, now, part you've all been waiting for, the food. Obviously. Well, first of all, water. Water, you're going to need at least a liter per person for a hike less than like 2 hours, and then it's recommended that you have 2 liters per person per day when backpacking, and this applies to day hikes as well. If you know you're going to be in a super hot climate, bring more water, especially in the desert. It still blows my mind that I watch people hike in the desert with like 1 water bottle. You're not gonna find water out here, my friend. People die because of this. Don't do that. Bring enough water. Okay, and then snack time. Snacks, my favorite. I love snacks. So when you're backpacking, you need at least some snacks. Like no matter what hike you're taking, minimum some snacks. So my preferred snacks for hiking are granola bars, voila, and trail mix. Granola bars are not super sustainable because they all come individually packaged. You can make your own, but they don't keep super well. So I bring these because they're super convenient. You can eat them while you're walking. They are really full of all the things you need. When you are backpacking, you are not focusing on eating like healthy fruits and vegetables. You are focusing on getting as much fuel into your body as possible. So granola bars have the 3 main things you're looking for in backpacking foods, which is protein, carbs, and fats, as well as electrolytes. So you want things that have salt in them too. Granola bars, I suggest at least 1 granola bar per person for like every 2 hours of your hike. you want to make sure you have enough fuel and they take up basically no space. And then my personal favorite, trail mix, or well, these are peanut M&Ms. They're better than trail mix because you don't have to eat the gross raisins. So I like to have these when I'm hiking because they're super convenient, and I actually talked about them in my travel snacks video, which is linked up here. And I usually don't bring this whole bag on a day hike. I'll usually bring a smaller container. This one's not open yet. I don't want to open it because food goes bad here really, really quickly. So you actually can decant a large bag, because I always recommend buying the biggest bag of snacks you can so that you are minimizing the amount of plastic that you are using. So you're going to use some plastic, but it's less than if you buy them individually, and then you're going to put them into smaller containers for your hike, and I have a video about that somewhere up here. Alright, so that's everything you need. You have snacks, water, first aid kit, your layers, your survival gear like your map, your compass, your emergency blanket, and sunscreen, and I'm already forgetting things. So yeah, so these are just the few things that you're going to want with you whenever you go on any sort of day packing trip, and they'll also come with you whenever you're going on a multi-day backpacking trip. They don't take up a lot of space, a lot of weight, and you will be so, so thankful to have them. Let me know if you guys liked this video. If you did, please like and subscribe below, and follow me on Instagram if you want to. I post lots of pictures of the great outdoors and cute animals. And comment below if you want to see more videos of kind of wild backpacking type of stuff, because I think that's the type of travel that we're going to be doing for a while. So let me know if you want to see more of that. Alright, bye!